People struggling. This is being recorded. It will be available on my website. I don't know what happened. Nothing seemed to be going right this morning with technology. So we're going to start. Our practice this morning is a little bit kind of testing out some chromatic stretch, which is like lots of muscular engagement and then opening. So it's kind of halfway between my normal classes and like a yin class. So why don't we just start in a seated position. We'll bring the hands into the lap. Palms can be up or palms can be down. And just starting by finding your breath this morning. Just noticing where your body is right now, what you're feeling, what you're experiencing. And slowly beginning to just deepen your breath. So the inhale gets a little bit deeper. The exhale gets a little bit longer. We'll draw the shoulders up by the ears. Squeeze the shoulders straight back. Hug the shoulder blades together. Just take a moment here. The chest be lifted for a breath or two. And we'll slowly allow the shoulders to relax down away from the ears. So not pressing them down, but just noticing, are you continuing to hold on? And seeing if you can start to move the shoulders away from the ears. And see if you can slide your skull back in the space. You have a tendency to sit forward. Can you slide back just a little bit so the back of the skull lines up with the back of the body, the back of the gluteus? And can you, while you're here in the seated position, can you find a little bit of an anterior tilt? So a little bit of the top of the pelvis rolls forward, a little bit of a back bend, like a really small back bend in the low back. What's probably happened is the top of your, the crown of your head's come forward. With the pelvis shifting forward into anterior tilt, can you press the sternum back, the center of the chest back? And can you press the center of the head back? And in this place, with the legs crossed, can you place the hands on the inner thighs, or what would be considered the top of the legs here? So coming out towards the knees, top of the legs, and with a little bit of an anterior tilt, the crown of the head shifting back, the center of the throat moving back. Can you engage the inner leg line by pressing the legs up into the hands and then resisting with the hands? So as the legs press up, the hands press down, and allow the pressing down through the hands to lift the chest a little bit more. And then with this engagement, can you come back to your breath? Releasing the engagement of the legs, you can allow the knees to drop down to wherever they may be. Let the hands slide over the tops of the knees. And just coming back to your breath here, noticing what's starting to happen in the body. And as we move through our practice this morning, because it's a little bit more still, I invite you to simply notice the experience of your emotions, of your feelings. Can you allow thoughts and feelings to join you through your practice without putting a lot of effort into pushing them away? Just simply notice they're there. They're there. And take one more breath here. And then when you're ready to, you can uncross the legs. Bring the legs, feet flat on the ground up in front of you. We'll draw the navel in here, squeeze, and we're going to roll all the way down onto our back. So taking your time, maybe a little core engagement as you come down, coming onto your back, and then taking a moment here, walk the feet in to the gluteals. So the feet get closer to you. Knees are bent a lot. Palms can come flat down on the ground. Move my props out of the way. So as the palms come flat down on the ground, can you let the shoulders slide up by the ears so the hands will drag up with you? And then can you press the shoulders straight down? The chest will lift towards the sky. That's okay. Press into the palms of the hands. Cool. And then in this place, can you press the center of the head, the center of your throat, down into the mat with like 5% of your effort? So just kind of turning on the muscles on the back of the neck, the upper back. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, press the hands down. And then release the pressing down, just let the center of the back relax back down to the earth, and just take a moment here. And with your feet still drawing in towards the gluteals, we'll press down into the inner heel, so the inner line, inner leg line, inner heel. Press down into the big toe mound, but don't go anywhere. Just start to engage by pressing the feet down. And as you start to engage by pressing the feet down, can you find a little bit of an arch again in the low back? So that means, again, the top of the pelvis comes towards the sky, and you can slide your hand underneath your low back bone. Just take a moment here, pressing down, but not so much that the hips lift. Finding that little bit of a tilt, you start to create space across the front of the body, the low abdomen. We also start to feel the muscles on the low back turn on. So this activation of the low back is called anterior tilt. Can you maintain that? Can you maintain anterior tilt? Can you bend the arms to 90 degrees and press the elbows straight down into the earth? And as you press the elbows straight down into the earth, can you press into the feet and lift the hips about an inch or so? Now what's probably happened is the tail's tucked under. That's okay, but come back to that other place, anterior tilt, turn the low back muscles on. You're gonna be creating some space in the low back today, so you wanna start by turning the muscles on and letting them know that we know they're there. Press down into the feet a little bit more, lift the hips a little bit more, keep that low back curve. So you should feel the muscles in your low back. This isn't like a stretch of the low back, this should be like a, oh hi, those muscles are there, cool. So maybe you press down a little bit more, the hips lift a little bit more, still finding that curve of the low back, that engagement. Keep pressing down into the elbows so the back of the shoulders stay turned on. And then from this place, I know you have a bunch of things already turned on, can you pull the heels towards you so that the back of the thigh bones, the hamstring muscles turn on? So keep rechecking. You might have to lower the hips a little, get the low back turned on, press down, pull. We'll hold for 3 breaths. So now just coming back to your breath and deepening the inhale and the exhale. One more breath. And slowly releasing down, maintain that curve of the low back. And just take a moment here before you do anything else. Just check in with the area of the body for you that's turned on. You let go of it now, but maybe you felt your shin muscles, maybe you felt your feet, your calves, the back of your legs, your glutes, your low back, your back, the back of your shoulders, maybe even the upper, your upper back. And then from here, let's hug the right knee into the chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. So hand comes to the front of the knee, the shin. Flexing the foot, so drawing the toes up towards the knees. So toes pull back. Give yourself a little bit more of a squeeze. So really squeeze the knee in if you have room to do so. And then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. So just come to whatever happens here. If you're sitting in a chair and you cross your legs and you're like, oh, this isn't so bad. Let's go back to that activation of the foot. So pull the toes back towards the knee. And then press the knee away from you. So use the strength of that outer hip. This is what we're going to stretch to turn, use the strength of the outer hip to press the knee away. Turn that muscle on, or those muscles on. Press down through the pinky side of the foot a lot, like you're karate chopping with the pinky edge of the foot. And then you might stay here. You might be like, yep, I feel sensation. Or you might decide to draw the left knee in towards the chest. So use the strength of the left leg to pull in. You could use your hands for a little support here if you'd like. But see if you can use the strength of the legs. Can you use the strength of the top of that left thigh? That would be your hip flexor. Can you use the strength of your outer right hip as you press the knee away? And slowly releasing that. We'll uncross the legs. Just take a moment here. Maybe windshield washing the knees from side to side. And then when you come back to center, can you notice the difference between the right side and the left side? You don't have to place a judgment on it. Just kind of check in with yourself. Is this a difference you can notice? When you're ready to do so, hug the left knee in. Hands come to the shins. Give yourself a squeeze. Drawing the toes back towards the knee. It's actually called dorsiflexion. They're both movements of the foot are called flexion. If you're interested in the anatomy, this one is the dorsiflexion. Give yourself a little bit more of a squeeze. And then cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Just pause and take a moment here. Take a breath, resettle. Reground yourself. And then we come back to karate chopping that pinky side edge of the foot and drawing the toes back towards the knee. Press the knee away from you towards the other long edge of your mat. And you might stay right here. Or you might use the strength of your right hip flexor, the top upper part of your right leg, to hug the left foot in, which will bring the knee with it. What you may notice is one side feels a little bit more open than the other. In reality, what it usually is one side is a little stronger than the other. Because our strength is directly connected to our mobility. Let's take one more breath here. And then slowly releasing both feet down. And again, windshield washer, bring the knees from side to side. Even though I know windshield washer-ing is not a word, still use it all the time. And then come back to center and just take a moment. Notice your own body. Not what I'm telling you to notice, not what other teachers tell you to notice, but notice the experience of your body right now, exactly as it is this morning. And as you're noticing your body's experience, can you tune in to the movement of your breath, the inhale and the exhale? When you're ready to do so, you can draw the knees in, and if it works for you, you can rock up and come through, come onto our hands and knees. We're going to start in a child's position here. So letting the hips sink back towards the heels. Knees might be really wide or maybe not so wide, just depends on your body. You can allow your chest to come down towards the mat or your forehead to come down towards the mat. And as you're here in this position, starting to send breath into the back of the body. Can you become really aware of the back of the rib cage, the low back? We're going to add in a little bit of muscle engagement here in child's pose. So can you hug the knees isometrically towards each other? Can you hug the knees in? That means engaging the muscles without moving. So squeezing them in as if you're squeezing a block until the inner leg line turns on. This doesn't have to be like powerlifting, muscular engagement, just enough of a squeeze that you start to feel the muscles, maybe your hip flexors and your adductors, the inner leg line starts to engage. On the next inhale, let's walk the fingertips towards the left. The right fingertips walk away a little bit more. And as the right fingertips walk away, think about hugging back a little with the right hand. So as if you're trying to grab onto a towel or a rope and just pull back just with like 5% of your effort, just starting to turn on the muscles underneath the armpit on the right side. On the next inhale, walk the hands back through center. And if you're still squeezing your legs together, nice job. Let go of the squeezing in. And then imagine, if you will, that you're trying to press down into your knees so that you rise up without actually lifting. So letting the hips sink back, press down into the shins, down into the knees so that the butt starts to turn on. And then as we're there, let's walk the hands over to the left. As the hand, over to the right. I don't know my right from left. The other side. The opposite hand walks away, left hand walks away. Left hand pulls back just a little to start engaging underneath the armpit. Then coming back to center when you're ready to do so. Press into the hands and come up to all fours. Just take a breath or two here, shifting from side to side. And we're going to move through a cat-cow flow here, not anything that's like crazy with engagement. Just letting the tail lift, the belly drop down, the heart come forward, maybe the gaze comes forward. And then pressing into the hands and rounding, draw the tail under, navel draws in. Inhale, arch, shift the tail, heart forward. And exhale, round. Inhale, arch. And exhale. One more here. Inhale, arch. And exhale, round. Coming back to center, let's grip into the fingertips. So press down into the pads of the fingers. Press down into the knuckles. Press the earth away a little bit so the upper back fills. Lift the tail, curl the toes under, and press up and back to down dog. Can you stay pressing into your hands, gripping into your fingertips, and see if the heel of the hand will lift or lighten its pressure on the ground. And then press straight down into the earth, and then press away. So two actions here, you're pressing down, so maybe the head and the chest pop up, and then you're pressing away, so your spine gets a little longer. And then you pedal out, shift a little from side to side, but keep the upper body engaged. Take one more breath here. Coming forward to all fours. Sit back onto your heels. Maybe circle out your wrists just a little. And then when we're ready to, we'll come back to table position. So getting a little engagement through the legs here. We're going to bend the right knee, kick the heel to the sky. So sometimes we have a tendency to do this and wrap it open. Can you keep the knee hugging in and kick the heel to the sky? From the heel kicking to the sky, inhale. As you exhale, can you hug the knee into the chest and squeeze the knee in, even if it's to the outside. Get the leg engaged. Inhale, reach out and back, kick the heel to the sky and engage the butt. And then exhale, hug in through the hip flexor, pull the belly in. Let's do two more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, kick back and up. And exhale, hug in. Bring your right knee down. Take a pause here. Maybe shift a little side to side. And then come back and find your center. So gripping for the fingers once again. We'll press the left heel to the sky. So again, heel presses straight up so the butt engages. So if we kick over like this, we get outer hip. We really want the underside of the gluteals to engage. Here's our inhale. Exhale, hug in, squeeze the knee in. Press it back as you inhale. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale back. Exhale. Inhale back. And exhale. Nice job. Take a moment here. We're going to come down onto our forearms. And you can stay on your knees here, or you can come out into a plank position. We're going to work on some shoulder blade strength, really. Some rhomboids. Lower the chest sink down. Squeeze the shoulder blades together as you're here, and then press away. So you might be right here. Press away. Chest sinks down, shoulder blades squeeze together. Press away. Or you might be here. Sink down, press away. We'll do 3 more. Then bring the knees down if they're not already there. This time press back to child's pose and let the hands come out wide. Let the forehead come down. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other while you're here with the forehead down on the earth. And then bring your hands back to whatever position works for you for child's pose, wherever that might be. So maybe that's extended, maybe it's by the heels, maybe it's something else. And as you're letting go of the engagement in child's pose, you're not pressing down, you're not squeezing in, you're not squeezing shoulder blades together, you're just simply being. Can you come back to your breath and just notice the experience of the body right now? On the next inhale, come forward. Let's come back to down dog for a moment. Send the right leg back behind as you inhale. And then bend the knee and wrap the hip open here. So we have a tendency sometimes to let the knee drop down. We just kind of bend the knee. See if you can press the outer knee towards the sky. Activate the foot, press that up a little bit more. And then can you take the heel and kick to the left edge of your mat, the long edge of your mat over on this side. Can you kick as if you had a neighbor that you were kicking? Can you keep active? Knee keeps pressing up, heel keeps kicking back. Inhale here, straighten and square, so extend the leg long. And then step the right foot forward as you exhale. Left knee comes down here. If you need a little extra padding, you can grab it. You can also fold your mat. And then in this position, let both hands come to the inside of that front leg. So if you have blocks or something that can help raise up your torso, you certainly can use those. And then before we just hang here, we're going to take the back knee and drag it in towards the front heel so that the inner leg line starts to turn on. So the front of this back leg is on, the inner line is on, and then press down to the front heel. That turns on the underside of the glutes. Then can you, with that engagement, start to let the upper body come forward. The front knee gets in the way. You can just let it swing out to the side a little bit, but keep pressing down into the heel. So keep hugging together. And can you come back to your breath here? And just observe any thoughts or feelings you might be having as clouds passing in the sky. We'll take another breath or two here. And then slowly starting to slide the hips back. Let the front leg extend. So again, if you want to use blocks or some sort of props, you certainly can do so. We're going to press straight down into this heel of this extended leg. So the right leg is out in front of you. Press straight down into the heel and pull back like you're trying to bend the knee. So as if you're trying to pull in here, but you're not actually moving because your mat gets in the way. And turn on the back of that leg. So turn on the hamstring. And then maybe you take a fold forward. And can you explore here? If you turn the toes out, is that a little bit more sensation? If you turn the toes in, is that a little bit more sensation? Just noticing the line in your body that needs a little bit more, maybe opening. And slowly slide back forward. This one's my favorite. So we're going to take the back knee and we're going to swing it around. So sometimes we do this with a shortened stance, and I call that funky lizard. This one's like a half frog, half lizard. So once we're here, this knee is pointing towards you guys, my back knee. My right knee is pointing forward. I'm going to shift my weight that way and come down onto my hands or something here. And then once you're here, pulling the back knee again towards the front heel, just enough that it turns on the muscle on the inner leg line on that back leg. Keep pressing down through the front heel. You might have a lot of mobility here. You might be able to come down to the ground. That's fine. You can be a little bit more upright. What we're really looking for is that little bit of engagement while we're creating an opening. That actually works to increase your mobility, your range of motion much more effectively. Let's take 2 more breaths here. And then when you're ready to, we'll shift towards the back leg. Let the leg roll back around so you're facing back towards the top edge of the mat. And then just take a moment. Maybe you come to sit on your heels. Maybe you can come to fold a little here. Maybe squeezing the legs towards each other. And then once you're ready to, we'll come back. Hands come back to the mat, curl the toes under, and up and back to down dog. So just notice once again, does the right and left feel the same? Or do they feel different? And then sending the left leg back behind when you're ready. Bend the knee, wrap the hip open. So again, knee lifts to the side. That's the one you just stretch. So you might be like, oh, hi. And then press the heel towards the wall behind you or the long edge of the mat. I just happen to have a wall here. Inhale here as you straighten and square, and then step the left foot forward. Right knee comes down on the mat, or a blanket, or a pillow. And maybe you bring your hands to some blocks. As the hips slide forward and you press down into the front heel, isometrically drag the back knee in towards you. So what tends to happen is the hips will lift just a little. That's okay, we're just trying to get some engagement on the inner leg line and the front of the back leg. And then once you find that engagement, once you notice that it's there, maybe you get a little longer through the spine. And then maybe you can reach a little bit further forward. If going all the way forward doesn't allow you to maintain that engagement, and I'm really talking like 5 to 10%, just kind of turning the muscle on, Then back up, lift back through your torso, re-engage. And then maybe come back down. We'll take another breath here. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders when you're ready to do so. Sliding the hips back. Maybe if you're using blocks, they come back with you. And then once you get into this position, this half Hanuman, half split position, you can press down to the front heel and engage. So the underside of the leg turns on. As the underside of the leg turns on the hamstrings, the back of the upper thigh, you can take a fold forward. And again, you might turn the toes out a little or turn the toes in a little. Just kind of play with the line, what the line in your body feels like. When you're ready to, inhale and slowly come forward. Maintaining the distance in the stance. Let the back leg swing around, so we're coming into a half frog on the back leg, which means you're opening the inner leg line. Press down into the front heel and let yourself slide forward. So sliding forward to your normal range of motion, to the place where your body goes, okay, that's enough. Then back up like a centimeter and hug in with that back knee. So back knee drags towards the front heel, turning on that inner leg line. And then once you've been able to do that, maybe you start to slide the hips forward again. And again, you might take a fold. There's no like right direction to fold here. It's kind of exploring what works for your body this morning. We'll take one more breath here. And then slowly lifting the torso, shifting back towards that right knee. Letting the legs swing around. So we'll come forward now onto our forearms, and we're going to come into a forearm plank. And from this forearm plank, hug the legs towards each other. So squeeze the inner leg line, that place that you were just creating a little opening. Squeeze it a little bit more. Press down into the arms, fill the upper back. Firm up the legs. And slowly release the knees down. We're going to turn the long way on our mats. So if you need some extra padding, we're going to come into a full frog. So what I like to do is just fold the ends of my mats in. It gives a little bit of extra padding. If you're super tight through the inner leg line, you might want a little bit more padding so that you're not pressing in on your knees. So from here, we open the knees wide, like a wide child's pose. The feet are going to turn out to the side. So this is a child's pose position. This is the frog position. The whole thigh bone rotates. So the toes turn out to the side, or foot turns out. Really, it's the thigh bone has turned. And you might stay a little bit more upright. You might use something like a block underneath your torso, this height or this height. If you have a bolster with you, I didn't bring one, you can use that as well. Bring that underneath the torso. And then once you're there, those of you that love yin, and this is like your jam, now we're going to engage. So instead of just hanging out here, can you squeeze the knees together? That would be pressing them down into the earth. So the knees press straight down. Your butt will lift a little bit, that's okay. And then imagine that you have a wall right behind you and you're kicking your heels back into the wall. So now you're squeezing the knees, so you're trying to squeeze the knees together and kick the feet back that way. You don't have to hold this for the whole pose, but can you come back here? Can you squeeze, maybe count 4 or 5 breaths yourself, then release, then do it again. Now, any and all of the squeezing or pressing or kicking that you're doing, you can let go of and just take a few breaths here in a little bit more of a yin style or stretch style frog. You might also play around with the tilt of your pelvis. If you kind of tuck your pelvis a little more like we do in plank, you might notice one sensation. If you anterior tilt with the tail towards the sky a little bit more, you might notice a different sensation. And to come out of frog, I'm going to press into my hands, lift the chest, and then I'm going to let my upper body come forward as I straighten my legs, toes press down, and then just windshield washer, or maybe hug the knees together. Pressing back when you're ready to do so. If you need to reset up your space, you certainly can. I know some of you have been working on splits. This is actually what this practice is designed for. So you'd start in a longer, you start in a longer lizard and let the legs extend out. The entire practice is just based around that exact building to that place. So if that's something that you've been working on, you certainly can. Just be mindful. Instead of just trying to stretch, contract the muscles that you're trying to stretch. So if the left leg is in front and the right leg is in back, instead of just hanging here and trying to get further into it, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to press down into the front heel so the hamstring engages, and I'm going to get a little deeper. My hip just dropped to the ground. So what your body likes. But if you're like, nope, not doing splits, that's cool. We're going to find our way onto our back. So you want to test them out, feel free. Otherwise, just coming to your back, hugging the knees in. Maybe opening the feet and finding a little happy baby here. Massaging out the low back. Just noticing the hips. So maybe let the knees rotate out a little bit. So instead of the knees hugging in towards the side of the rib cage, they swivel out past your armpits. We're releasing the feet down to the ground. I'm going to take a spine twist here, so you can hug the right knee in. Press down into the left foot. Lift the hips and scoot them to the right 3 inches. And then let the right knee come across the midline. Finding a spine twist here. And slowly coming back to center when you're ready. Straightening back out. Take a pause here. Hug the left knee in. Press down into the right foot. Lift the hips. Slide them to the left 3 inches. And then let the left knee come towards the right. Slowly releasing back your center once you're ready to do so. And if there's any final poses, anything that you would like to add in, maybe it's a legs up the wall, or an inversion of some sort. Maybe it's another hip opener on your back. If there's anything that you're feeling like your body needs, I invite you to add that in. Otherwise, finding your way into your final rest of Shavasana for this practice today. Taking a moment while you're here before you allow everything to just let go. Can you start from the back of your feet, from the back of your heels, and press those down? Can you keep those pressing and press down any other part of your leg that comes into contact with the earth? Can you maintain that and press through the back of the pelvis, the back of the rib cage or the shoulder girdle, the back of the arms, the back of the head? Can you allow the throat to relax towards the earth? Press down to the backs of the hands. And take 3 breaths here as you're pressing down with every part of your body that comes into contact with the earth. And then releasing any of that pressing. Allowing the bones to be heavy. Feeling the space, the air around your body. Finding the rhythm of your breath once more. And allowing yourself to simply be. Begin to draw some awareness back to your breath. Deepening your inhalation and your exhalation. And drawing some awareness back to your body. Adding in some movements. Adding in whatever movements your body needs as you awaken. Eventually finding your way to a seated position, bringing the hands to the heart. Bring your thumbs to your sternum, to your heart chakra. Just taking a moment here to take a few deep breaths. Noticing the connection of your pelvis, your sits bones, the backs of your thighs, as you're connected to the earth. And allow that connection to the earth to remind you that when we are grounded, we can love more fully. We can have more compassion for ourselves and for others. And it's much easier to find peace. Namaste.